There is a dark, unspoken equation at the heart of global conflict. A formula where human suffering converts into corporate profit with chilling efficiency. For the world's largest arms companies, a short, decisive war is a market disruption. A long, grinding, stalemated war is a business plan. It is the difference between a one-time sale and a lucrative open-ended subscription service. While nations bleed treasure and blood, a specific set of corporations headquartered in glass towers far from the sound of artilleries see their valuations soar. Their order books swell, and their influence become unassailable. Why? Because modern protracted conflict is the ultimate product these companies have engineered. A war that can never be fully won, but must be perpetually supplied. If you believe wars are fought only for flags and ideology, look at the stock market. The real winners are cashing in. Tell me right now, where are you watching from and what time is it? To understand the brutal economics of endless war, hit like, share this, and subscribe to grasp this. We must move beyond the simplistic image of the merchant of death selling weapons to both sides. Today's model is far more sophisticated, integrated, and politically untouchable. The love affair between arms manufacturers and long wars is built on a triple lock strategy: the depletion doctrine, the modernization mandate, and the dependency spiral. Together, they form a closed, self-perpetuating economic loop. First, the most immediate driver. The depletion doctrine selling the same bullet twice. A short war consumes a finite stockpile. A long war consumes an infinite one. Consider the humble artillery shell. In the trench warfare of Ukraine, both sides are firing thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of these rounds every single day. A national stockpile built for a month of intense conflict evaporates in a week. This creates a panic-driven, no-questions-asked buying frenzy. Governments don't haggle over the per-unit cost of a 155mm shell when their front lines are collapsing. They sign blank check contracts to replenish what's been spent. But here's the catch. You're not just buying new shells to replace the old ones. You are also expanding production, capacity building new factories, hiring new workers, securing new supply chains for explosives and steel. This expansion is funded by the taxpayer, becomes a permanent asset of the corporation, and creates a new, higher baseline for peacetime production. The war doesn't just create demand. It institutionalizes a higher level of demand indefinitely. Rheinmetall, a German titan of artillery and tank production, didn't just get orders. It embarked on a multi-billion-euro expansion, building new plants across Europe. The depletion of ammunition isn't a problem for them. It is their core business model. Second, and more profitable than simple replenishment, the modernization mandate. The upgrade cycle. A long war is the world's most lethal product testing ground. In real time, weapon systems are pushed to their limits and their flaws are exposed under fire. A tank's armor is found vulnerable to a new drone. An air defense system can't track small, cheap UAVs. This generates an urgent, non-negotiable need for the next generation. The long war becomes a relentless, live-action advertisement for the corporation's R&D department. It proves that what you bought last year is already obsolete, and safety depends on buying this year's model. This isn't just about selling more. It's about selling more expensive. You replace a $100,000 artillery piece with a $500,000 smart guided version. You replace a $10 million drone with a $50 million counter-drone system. The longer the war grinds on, the more vicious this technological arms race becomes, and the more indispensable the arms companies become as the sole providers of salvation. They transition from suppliers to strategic partners, embedded in the military's planning process, shaping the very definition of what victory requires. But the most profound lock-in is the third. The dependency spiral. We own the maintenance. Modern weapons are not simple tools. They are complex, software-dependent platforms. A fighter jet, like the F-35, is a flying computer with millions of lines of code. You don't just buy it. You enter a lifetime service contract. You depend on the manufacturer for spare parts, software updates, diagnostic tools, and specialized maintenance. During a long war, this dependency deepens into absolute control. When a system breaks down under combat stress, only the original company has the proprietary knowledge to fix it. They control the supply chain for critical single-source components. This gives them unprecedented pricing power and leverage. A nation can't switch suppliers in the middle of a fight. This spiral ensures that even after the last bullet is fired, the customer is locked in for decades of lucrative servicing, upgrading and overhauling their now battle-worn equipment. The war becomes the hook for a century-long relationship. This triple-lock strategy transforms the geopolitical landscape itself. A long war reshapes alliances into captive markets. Nations that once had diverse suppliers rush to standardize with the alliance. Leaders equipment for interoperability and speedy delivery. Eastern European nations, for example, are dumping their old Soviet-era gear and signing multi-billion-dollar deals for American Abrams tanks, Patriot missiles, and HIMARS systems. This isn't just an arms sale. It's a long-term geopolitical realignment, paid for in cash and secured through dependency. The arms company becomes an arm of statecraft, and its balance sheet becomes a map of new, enduring spheres of influence. We are witnessing this play out in real time. But to see the ultimate, chilling destination of this logic, we must look beyond traditional battlefields. The arms industry is not waiting for wars to happen. It is actively investing in the frontiers where future forever wars will be fought. In the algorithms of AI, in the silent void of space, and in the human mind itself. The goal is no longer just to supply a conflict, but to engineer a world where conflict in some form is perpetual, manageable, and exquisitely profitable. The business model of loving long wars has a logical, terrifying endpoint. It is no longer enough to profit from existing conflicts. The future belongs to those who can design ecosystems of endless, manageable confrontation. The next generation of arms companies is not just building better missiles. They are building self-sustaining markets for violence. They are investing in domains where war is not an event with a beginning and end, but a permanent, software-updated service condition to be managed, like a chronic disease with expensive proprietary treatments. This is the shift from warfighting to war as a service. The first and most critical new domain is algorithmic warfare, the AI arms race. Long wars generate oceans of data, drone footage, satellite intel, signals, intercepts, social media traffic. This data is the new crude oil, and the companies that can refine it will control the next century of conflict. Firms like Palantir, Anduril, and Shielded are pioneering this frontier. They don't just sell a drone. They sell an integrated kill chain platform. Their AI systems promise to process data in real time, identify targets faster than any human, and coordinate swarms of autonomous systems. The brilliance of this model for a long war is its insatiable appetite. AI algorithms are never finished. They require constant new data for training, which the ongoing war readily supplies. They need ever faster processing, which requires new server contracts. They discover new vulnerabilities, which require new counter-AI systems to be developed and sold. It creates a perfect closed investment loop. War feeds the AI. The AI justifies more spending, and the spending fuels more war. A stalemate becomes a data goldmine. A live proving ground where products are battle-tested and rendered obsolete within months, necessitating the next, more expensive upgrade. The longer the war, the smarter and more indispensable the corporate-owned AI becomes. Second is the privatization of the battle-spaced contractor forever war. Long wars exhaust state militaries. creating a vacuum filled by private military and security companies, PMSCs. But this is no longer just about mercenaries with guns. Modern contractors like Academe, formerly Blackwater, DynCorp, and their more corporate successors offer end-to-end solutions. They train troops, run logistics, maintain complex weapons systems, operate surveillance drones, and even conduct cyber operations. In a long war, they become a parallel, permanent military structure embedded in the conflict's fabric. Their profit motive aligns perfectly with prolongation. Mission creep is a business strategy. A contract to train local forces expands to securing bases, then to conducting patrols, then to providing close air support. Their financial reports to shareholders demand growth, and growth comes from expanded scope and extended timelines. The state, once the sole arbiter of war, becomes a client, locked into long-term service agreements with corporations that have no incentive to deliver a final victory. Only a sustainably managed conflict. The final, most abstract frontier is cognitive and information warfare, selling the why. Long wars require sustained public support or resigned acquiescence. A new breed of defense contractor now specializes in shaping this perception. These are not traditional PR firms, but cyber influence operations companies, data analytics firms, and disinformation specialists. They sell campaigns to demonize the enemy, boost domestic morale, target adversary populations with tailor-made propaganda, and control the narrative across social media platforms. In a long war, morale is a logistical concern, and these companies become the suppliers. They ensure the war remains palatable, or at least confusing enough for the public's funding it. Their services become essential to maintaining the political will required to continue purchasing the very weapons and AI systems fueling the fight. They profit by perpetuating the war's narrative ecosystem. This convergence AI platforms, private battalions, and perception managers creates the ultimate forever war business model. It is a holistic system where the corporation provides the sensors, drones, satellites, the brain AI analysis, the muscle private forces, and hardware. The story information ops the maintenance lifetime service contracts. The nation-state provides the capital, the political legitimacy, and the soldiers to be augmented or replaced. We see the early contours of this in the Ukraine conflict. But the testing ground for its full implementation is elsewhere, in the shadowy, undeclared drone wars across the Middle East and Africa, where strikes are called based on algorithmic pattern of life analysis and executed by private contractors, with no congressional oversight or clear endpoint. These are the ideal low accountability, long-term conflicts that generate reliable revenue streams without the volatility of all-out war. Thus, the cynical answer to why do arms companies love long wars is evolving. It's not just about selling more bullets. It's about vertical integration of the entire conflict lifecycle. A long war is no longer a market opportunity. It is the product environment. It is the necessary ecosystem in which their next-generation, subscription-based, AI-driven, privately executed security solutions can be proven, scaled, and rendered permanently indispensable. The final, grim implication is this: we are moving towards a world where the most powerful corporate actors in the defense sector have a fundamental shareholder interest in the continuation of armed conflict. Their valuation models, their R&D roadmaps, their very existence are predicated on a world of persistent, technologically intensive confrontation. Peace, in this model, is not a goal. It is a corporate risk. A major lasting peace dividend would be their version of a market crash. So what do you think? Are we witnessing the inevitable privatization of conflict, where the profit motive inevitably extends the suffering? Or is this deep integration of corporate tech the only way to secure ourselves in a dangerous world? Has the military-industrial complex evolved into something far more pervasive, Security industrial ecosystem that requires conflict to survive. Let me know in the comments. If this exposed a hidden engine of our world, hit like, share this critical analysis, and subscribe.